Caroline Mitchell stood in the empty apartment that had been her home for 12 years. The walls were bare. The furniture was gone. Everything she owned fit into 3 cardboard boxes stacked by the door. At 57 years old, she was starting over with nothing. Her landlord, Mr. Chen, had been patient. 3 months of missed rent after Richard died. 3 months of excuses and promises. But patience had limits. The eviction notice had come last week. She had until today to leave. Caroline picked up her boxes one at a time and carried them down to her sister's car. Jennifer was waiting in the driver's seat, her face carefully neutral. Neither of them had imagined it would come to this. "Ready?" Jennifer asked quietly. Caroline nodded. She didn't trust her voice. They drove in silence through the city Caroline had lived in her entire adult life. Past the coffee shop where she and Richard had their first date. Past the hospital where he died 6 months ago. Past all the places that reminded her of the life she used to have. Jennifer's house was in the suburbs. A modest 2-story with a neat lawn and a basketball hoop in the driveway. Jennifer's husband Tom and their 2 teenagers lived there. It was already crowded. Adding Caroline to the mix felt like an imposition she had no right to make. But she had nowhere else to go. Tom helped carry the boxes down to the basement. It wasn't finished. Concrete floors. Exposed ceiling beams. A small window near the ceiling that let in minimal light. But there was a bathroom, and Jennifer had set up a bed and a small dresser. "It's not much," Jennifer said apologetically. "But it's yours for as long as you need." Caroline forced a smile. "Thank you. Really. I don't know what I would do without you." After they left, Caroline sat on the edge of the bed and looked around her new home. This was rock bottom. This was what her life had become. A basement. 3 boxes of belongings. No job. No savings. No idea how to move forward. She had tried to find work. But at 57, with no recent job history and gaps in her resume, nobody wanted her. She had applied to dozens of places. Retail stores. Restaurants. Office jobs. Nothing. Not even a callback. Richard's life insurance had barely covered the funeral costs. There was no pension. No inheritance. He had been a good man and a loving husband, but he hadn't been good with money. They had lived paycheck to paycheck. When he got sick, everything fell apart. Caroline unpacked her 3 boxes. Clothes in the dresser. Toiletries in the bathroom. Personal items on a small shelf Tom had installed. Photos of Richard. Her mother's jewelry box. A few books. That first night she barely slept. The basement was cold and damp. She could hear footsteps above her. The normal sounds of a family going about their evening. She felt like an intruder in their lives. The next morning Jennifer came down with coffee and toast. "We need to talk about a plan," she said gently. Caroline nodded. "I know. I'm going to keep looking for work. Something will come through." Jennifer hesitated. "Mom left some money. Not much, but enough to help you get on your feet. Tom and I talked about it. We want you to have it." Caroline shook her head firmly. "No. That money is for you and your kids. I'm not taking it." "Caroline, please." I said no. "I'll figure this out. I just need time." But time was something she didn't have. Another week passed. More job applications. More rejections. Caroline felt herself sinking deeper into despair. She spent most of her days in the basement, too ashamed to go upstairs and face her sister's family. One afternoon, when everyone was out, Caroline decided to explore the basement more thoroughly. There were storage boxes stacked in the corner. Old holiday decorations. Children's toys. Things Jennifer had accumulated over the years. As Caroline moved boxes around looking for somewhere to store her own things, she noticed something behind the water heater. A small wooden box wedged against the wall, covered in dust and cobwebs. She pulled it out and set it on the floor. It wasn't locked. The hinges creaked as she opened it. Inside were letters. Dozens of them. And photographs. And a leather journal. Caroline picked up one of the letters. The envelope was addressed to Jennifer, but the return address made Caroline's breath catch. It was from their mother. but the postmark was from 15 years ago, long before their mother died. She opened the letter carefully. "My dearest Jennifer," it began in their mother's familiar handwriting. "I know we haven't spoken in months. I know you're still angry about what happened. But I need you to know something. The choice I made all those years ago, it wasn't because I didn't love you. It was because I loved you too much to let you make the same mistakes I did." Caroline frowned. "What choice? What mistakes?" She kept reading. "When you told me you were dropping out of college to marry Tom, I panicked. I saw myself at your age making the same decision. Marrying your father because I was pregnant with Caroline. Giving up my dreams. My education. My future. I didn't want that for you, Jennifer. I wanted you to have choices. To build your own life before tying it to someone else. So I did something I regret. I told Tom you didn't love him. I told him you were only with him because you were afraid to be alone. I tried to drive him away. I know you found out. I know that's why you stopped speaking to me for years. And I understand. What I did was wrong. It was manipulative and cruel. But I need you to know why I did it. And I need you to know that even though you married him anyway, even though you proved me wrong, I have never stopped loving you. I have never stopped being proud of you. You built a beautiful life, Jennifer. A strong marriage. Wonderful children. You proved that sometimes young love does last. That sometimes the choices we make at 20 are the right ones. I was wrong. And I'm sorry. Please forgive me. With all my love, Mom." Caroline sat back stunned. She had no idea any of this had happened. Jennifer had never mentioned it. Their mother had never said anything. She picked up another letter. This one was dated 2 years later. "My dearest Jennifer, I saw Caroline yesterday. She mentioned that you and Tom are struggling financially. That you're working 2 jobs and barely making ends meet. I want to help. I've enclosed a check for $5,000. Please take it. Use it for whatever you need. Bills. The kids. A vacation. Anything. I know you're proud. I know you don't want charity. But this isn't charity, Jennifer. This is a mother trying to make up for the harm she caused. Please let me do this. With all my love, Mom." Caroline looked in the box. There was no check. Jennifer must have cashed it. But she had never mentioned it to anyone. There were more letters. Dozens of them spanning 10 years. Their mother reaching out. Apologizing. Offering support. Trying to rebuild the relationship she had damaged. And Jennifer had kept every single one. Hidden in a box in the basement. Caroline picked up the leather journal. She opened it to the first page. "This journal belongs to Jennifer Mitchell," it read in Jennifer's handwriting. "Private. Do not read." Caroline knew she should stop. This was private. Personal. But something compelled her to keep reading. The first entry was dated 20 years ago. "Mom did something unforgivable today. She tried to break up me and Tom. Told him lies about me. Tried to convince him I didn't really love him. Thank God Tom came to me first. Thank God he gave me a chance to explain. But I don't know if I can ever forgive her for this. She almost destroyed the best thing in my life. I know why she did it. She regrets marrying Dad young. She regrets giving up college. She sees her mistakes in every choice I make. But am not her. My life is not her life. And I wish she could see that." Caroline turned the pages. Entries about the wedding. About Mom showing up even though they hadn't spoken in months. About the birth of Jennifer's first child and Mom sending a gift. About years of slow reconciliation. And then an entry from 8 years ago that made Caroline stop breathing. Caroline called today. She's so worried about Mom. About the diagnosis. About what comes next. I didn't tell her the truth. I couldn't. How do I explain that Mom and I aren't close anymore? That we talk maybe twice a year? That I still haven't fully forgiven her for what she did? Caroline thinks Mom and I have this wonderful relationship. She has no idea how much damage there was. how hard it was to rebuild. And I let her think that. Because it's easier than explaining. Because Caroline was always Mom's favorite and I don't want to taint that for her. But watching Mom get sick, watching her fade, it's bringing everything back. All the anger. All the hurt. All the years we lost because of one terrible decision she made. I don't know if I'll regret this someday. If I'll wish I had tried harder to forgive completely. But right now I just feel sad. Sad for all of us. Caroline closed the journal. Tears were streaming down her face. She had no idea. All those years she thought their family was fine. That Jennifer and Mom had a good relationship. She had been completely blind to the truth. There was one more thing in the box. An envelope with Caroline's name on it. She picked it up with shaking hands. Inside was a letter from their mother dated just a month before she died. My dearest Caroline, if you're reading this, it means Jennifer finally told you the truth. About what happened between us. About the years of distance and pain. I wanted to tell you myself so many times. But Jennifer asked me not to. She said you didn't need to carry that burden. That you deserved to remember our family as happy. I agreed because I owed her that much. I owed her the right to control her own story. But now I'm dying. And there are things I need you to know. First, I need you to know that everything I did out of love. Misguided love. Controlling love. Love that caused harm. But love nonetheless. I made terrible mistakes with Jennifer. I tried to control her life because I was afraid she would make the same mistakes I did. I didn't trust her to make her own choices. And I nearly lost her because of it. Don't make my mistakes, Caroline. When you love someone, you have to let them live their own lives. Make their own choices. Even when you're afraid. Even when you think you know better. Second, I need you to know about the money. Over the years, I gave Jennifer almost $50,000. Money she never told you about. Money she used to build her business. To buy her house. To create the stable life she has now. I never told you because I didn't want you to feel left out. But you need to know now. Because when I die, everything I have left goes to you. And I need you to understand why. I gave Jennifer money when she needed it most. When she was struggling. When she was trying to build something. Now I'm giving you what remains. Not because I love you more. But because I want to help you the way I helped her. Use it wisely, Caroline. Use it to build something. To create stability. To give yourself the life you deserve. There is a savings account in my name at First National Bank. Account number 847392. The balance is approximately $120,000. I never touched it after your father died. I lived on his pension and Social Security. I saved everything else. It's yours now. All of it. But promise me something. Don't resent Jennifer for the help I gave her. Don't let money come between you. You're sisters. You need each other. And tell her I forgive her. For the distance. For the anger. For not being able to fully let go of the past. Tell her I understand. Tell her I love her. Tell her I always did. With all my love, Mom. Caroline read the letter 3 times. $120,000. A savings account she knew nothing about. Money that could change everything. She sat on the basement floor surrounded by letters and journals and photographs. Evidence of a family history she had never known. Pain and reconciliation she had been blind to. She heard footsteps upstairs. Jennifer was home. Caroline carefully put everything back in the box and carried it upstairs. Jennifer was in the kitchen putting away groceries. Jennifer, Caroline said quietly, "We need to talk." Jennifer's face went pale when she saw the box. "Where did you find that?" "In the basement. Behind the water heater." "I wasn't snooping. I was just moving boxes and I found it." Jennifer sat down heavily at the kitchen table. "I should have thrown that away years ago." Caroline sat across from her and opened the box. She pulled out Mom's final letter. "Did you know about this?" Jennifer took the letter and read it. Her hands were shaking. No, she whispered. I had no idea. They sat in silence for a long moment. Then Jennifer spoke. I'm sorry, Caroline. I'm sorry I never told you about what happened with Mom. About the money. About everything. Caroline reached across the table and took her sister's hand. I understand why you didn't. And am not angry. You should be. You have every right to be. Mom wanted to help us both. At different times. In different ways. There is nothing to forgive. Jennifer started crying. All these years I thought she loved you more. That you were her favorite. That I was always second best because I disappointed her. Caroline shook her head. She loved us both. She just showed it differently. And she carried guilt about you for the rest of her life. They talked for hours. About their mother. About the past. About pain and forgiveness and all the things families carry in silence. The next morning Caroline went to First National Bank. She brought the letter and her identification and her mother's death certificate. The account was real. The balance was actually $132,000. Interest had accumulated over the years. Caroline sat in the bank manager's office staring at the account statement. This was real. This was happening. She wasn't destitute anymore. She had options. She had a future. But she also had a sister who had given her a place to live when she had nowhere else to go. A sister who had supported her through the worst months of her life. Caroline made a decision. She transferred $66,000 into a new account in her own name. Then she had the bank manager write a check for $66,000 made out to Jennifer Mitchell. When she got home, Jennifer was folding laundry in the living room. Caroline handed her the check. What is this? Jennifer asked. Half. Caroline said simply. Mom wanted to help us both. So I'm splitting it evenly. Caroline, no. That money is yours. Mom left it to you. And I'm choosing to share it. Because you're my sister. Because you took me in when I had nothing. Because this is what family does. Jennifer stared at the check. This is too much. It's exactly right. You used Mom's money to build your life. Now we both get to build our futures. They cried and hugged and laughed and cried some more. Caroline used her half of the money to rent a small apartment. Nothing fancy, but it was hers. She also enrolled in a medical coding certification program. At 57, she was going back to school. Starting a new career. Jennifer used her half to expand her photography business. Something she had always wanted to do but never had the capital for. 6 months later, Caroline graduated from her program. She got a job at a medical office making decent money with benefits. She furnished her apartment. She started rebuilding her life. 1 year after moving into Jennifer's basement, Caroline invited her sister over for dinner. They sat on Caroline's small balcony watching the sunset. Do you ever think about how different things could have been? Jennifer asked. If you hadn't found that box? All the time, Caroline said. I think about how easy it would have been to miss it. To never know the truth. To spend the rest of my life struggling. Mom gave us both a gift, Jennifer said quietly. Money, yes. But also truth. She made sure we would know the whole story eventually. Caroline nodded. She loved us imperfectly. But she loved us completely. They sat in comfortable silence. Two sisters who had survived loss and struggle and uncertainty. Who had found their way back to each other through hidden letters and painful truths. Caroline's life had been transformed. Not just by money but by understanding. By knowing that her mother had thought of her. Had planned for her. Had wanted to make sure she would be okay. The box in the basement had held more than letters. It had held hope. Redemption. A second chance at life when she thought all chances were gone. 2 years after finding the box, Caroline stood in her own small house. Not an apartment. A house. With a yard and a mortgage she could afford. She had furniture she had picked out herself. Pictures on the walls. A life she had rebuilt from nothing. Jennifer came over every Sunday for dinner. Sometimes they talked about their mother. Sometimes they just enjoyed being together. The distance that had existed in their relationship for so many years was gone. They were truly sisters now. Not just by blood but by choice. Caroline often thought about that day in the basement. About how close she had come to missing the box entirely. About how one discovery had changed the trajectory of her entire life. She had lost her husband, her home, her sense of security. She had hit rock bottom in that cold basement with 3 boxes of belongings and no idea how to move forward. But rock bottom had hidden a gift. A mother's final act of love. A sister's quiet strength. A future that had seemed impossible. Caroline learned something profound in those dark months. That sometimes losing everything creates space for something new. That family secrets can carry both pain and grace. That love finds ways to reach us even from beyond the grave. Her mother had made mistakes. Had caused hurt. Had carried guilt and regret. But in the end she had found a way to help both her daughters. To give them what they needed when they needed it most. The money had been transformative. But the letters, the truth, the understanding had been the real gift. Knowing she was loved. Knowing she was remembered. Knowing someone had thought of her future even when she couldn't. Caroline walked to her bookshelf and pulled down a small wooden box. The same box she had found in the basement. She had kept it. Along with all the letters and photographs and the journal. She opened it and reread her mother's final letter. The words were familiar now. But they still made her cry. With all my love, Mom. Thank you, Caroline whispered. Thank you for seeing me. For remembering me. For giving me a second chance. She closed the box and put it back on the shelf. Then she went to the kitchen to start preparing Sunday dinner. Jennifer would be here soon. And they had so much to be grateful for. A widow who couldn't pay rent. Who moved to her sister's basement with nothing but 3 boxes and broken dreams. Who found a hidden box that transformed not just her bank account but her entire understanding of love and family and second chances. This was her story. And it was far from over. If this story touched your heart, please hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments which city you're watching from. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it today. Remember, sometimes our darkest moments hide the greatest gifts. Sometimes the things we think are endings are actually new beginnings in disguise. Have you ever discovered something that completely changed your life? Let me know in the comments below.